Hello, my beautiful friends. This is Shelly from Koala Knits and Knacks. So happy you joined me in this tutorial. We're going to make this awesome beanie. You're going to love it. It is adjustable in head circumference just by adding more rows to your piece. Now this is the average size beanie, and I will tell you how many rows you need, etc. as we get into the video. But I'll just say at the very beginning, if you need it wider, then just for every 5 rows or so that you knit, it will make it about an inch wider in circumference. So let that be your guide, and you can knit away and make it as big as you need it to be, okay? I used my Addi 46 needle machine and my Addi 22 needle machine. You go ahead and use your Sentro 48 and Sentro 22 if that's what you have. It'll be beautiful on that as well. I used Heartland yarn from Lion Brand in the colorway Grand Canyon and Badlands. Now the Badlands is the burgundy-ish color, and I used, I'm guessing, not even 3/4 of a ball. And in the Grand Canyon, very little of that ball as well. And just for those of you who need to know ounces, each ball is a 5-ounce ball, 142 grams. And yeah, just buy 1 ball of each and you'll be able to make this beautiful, beautiful beanie. Okay, so once you have your supplies ready, we're going to get right at her. And you know, stick with me in this video because I'm going to show you just a genius way to add your pom-poms to your hat. So you're going to love it. So stick with me, and once you have your supplies ready, let's just get at her. Okay, my friends, so we are going to start with the base of our hat, with the main body of our hat, and we're going to need to use waste yarn. So having your machine in circular mode, let's cast on with waste yarn behind the first block and in front and behind and in front, all the way around. Okay. Now you can make any size of beanie in this same manner as you want. Based on the amount of rows you use is the head circumference. So basically, when you make your headbands, however many rows you use for your headband for size, that's how many rows you're going to make when it comes to doing a beanie like this. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to cast on about 7 rows of waste yarn. I'm going to loosen it in my ball here because it's pretty tight. Okay. 7 rows of waste yarn, or 8, however many you're comfortable with. You don't need quite as many in the beginning of your project because it doesn't unravel as easily as it does at the end of the project. I haven't used this yarn for a while. This is, again, the Heartland yarn, but I already know just by doing the waste yarn here that I am going to go and pick up a bunch of colors in this because I love this yarn. It is so beautiful. Okay, so I'm going to stop there. I'm going to cut my yarn. Okay, put that aside, open the latch. I'm going to put that yarn tail between the last white and the first black. I'm going to remember to set my row counter to 0. Okay, then I'm going to take my working yarn, place it in the yarn feeder, shut the latch. I'm going to hold both ends. I'm going to knit 3 or 4 needles. Then I'm going to take the both ends of that working yarn and I'm going to pull it up snug, just so that I can have nice tension on my first few stitches as well. And I'm going to put 1 little tie in there. Now for an adult headband, I would do 90 rows. So I'm going to do 90 rows for this. Okay, so you go ahead and you knit 90 rows. And once I get to row 55 or 60, somewhere in there, when it starts to touch the table, I will come back and show you how I roll it up into a donut. If you've watched my videos before and you've done this before, then of course you know how to do that. So keep going until you complete 90 rows. All right, so you can see it's starting to touch the table. I'm at 57 rows. So I'm going to just pick it up and I'm going to roll it into a little donut. Okay. And there we go. And by doing that, it just keeps the tension even around the barrel here so that we don't have these little loops falling off of our red teeth and dropping a row, okay? Because when the tension gets loose and it's on the table and it picks up on the fabric like this, and you could drop your stitches. So very simple fix. All right, so keep going. Finish 90 rows. All right, so I just finished 90 rows. I'm going to cut my tail, open the latch, put it in between the last white and the first black. Then we're going to grab our waste yarn again, insert that into our yarn feeder. We're going to give a little tie here and knit as many rows as you're comfortable with waste yarn. I'm going to do 7 rows of waste yarn, okay? So I'm going to just loosen it out of my ball, okay? I'm going to do 7 rows of waste yarn. Here's my handle. Every once in a while it acts up. Most often, if I go the speed that the yarn wants me to go and the machine wants me to go according to the yarn that I'm using, then I don't hear that sound, okay? So I'm choosing a little bit slower speed, and I'm not getting that grinding. Sometimes you have to do that, but you know what? It's good to take care of your machines like that. It's good to take that extra time. If you're using 3-weight yarn, you can go much faster. Oops, I just tucked those little stitches here, or dropped them, missed them. But I'm going to just keep going because this is waste yarn. If this wasn't waste yarn, I would go ahead and fix that. But because it's waste yarn, I'm going to just leave it. And when it comes around to here, I'm going to drop those. But that's okay, because I'm going to stop here anyway. So I'm going to just get around. And then I'll just fasten those 2 rows with stitch markers so they don't unravel, and we're good. I could have fixed them like you fix tucked stitches, but you know what? This is waste yarn, and I'm going to be closing this up right away, so it really doesn't matter. So I'm going to cut that. I'll show you what I'm going to do with it in a second, but I'm going to cut that, and I'm going to rotate my barrel twice, and it will come off. And then stick with me and I'll show you how I'm going to fix those 2 needles so that it doesn't unravel, okay? I'm going to remove my Addi and I'll see you right back. All right, so to fix those 2 little stitches that dropped, I'm going to find them. There they are, okay? And I'm going to take stitch markers. And because they're close together, I can use 1 stitch marker for both. I'm going to just hook it, and I'm going to hook this one. Just like that. Looks like that might be something that's going to give me trouble too. Then I'm just going to clip them up to the top there. Then they can't unravel any further, and I'm safe to leave it like that. So that's how I fix that, okay? Very, very easy. Now I'm going to set it aside. We are going to set up our Addi 22, okay, in the same manner. Let me set it up and then I'll see you right back. All right, so I have my Addi set up, and we're going to do the same row counts, but with whatever color you want to choose for the brim. So I'm going to choose a different color. So I'm going to take my waste yarn. This color is the body of my hat, but I'm going to use it for waste yarn this time. Okay, and I'm going to cast on just like we did on our big machine. Okay, open the latch, put that in there, set my counter to 0. Then I'm going to... Actually, you don't need to set your counter to 0 yet, sorry. You set your counter to 0 before you start with your working yarn. So ignore that. It's just a habit. I always set my row counter before I start my rows, and so it's just a habit, and that's fine. It's not hurting anything. So we're going to keep going around. I'm going to do 7 rows of waste yarn. Okay, then I'm going to reset my counter to 0. Okay, have my last white, my first black in line. I'm going to cut off that waste yarn, open the latch, put it between those 2 needles. Then I'm going to grab my working yarn. So I want my brim to be this beautiful brown tan color. And I'm going to just do what we did with our big machine, okay? So now I'm going to just tighten that a little bit, tie 1 little knot. I'm going to knit 90 rows of my main color. Then I'm going to cut it. I'm going to add waste yarn. I'm going to add 7 or 8 rows of waste yarn, just like what we did on the Addi 46 needle machine. Then crank your handle twice and remove your project, okay? Same exact technique as the big one, doing 90 rows, okay? So go ahead and do 90 rows for your brim, and then I'll see you back. All right, so when you get to the table, when it starts to touch the table, now if I would put this machine on the other end of my table, I have a little hole that's drilled in the table, and it falls right through, and that's how I manage this. But all you got to do is just pick this up and let it fall, and that will keep it your tension tight. Or take it right inside out and then just roll it up like this and tuck it in there. Okay, and that's going to help you keep your tension even around the inside of the barrel, okay, as you're knitting. And the longer you get, pick it up and roll it again and stick it in the middle. Because see, it just happens so fast on the Addi 22. You know, we can make a panel so quickly on this machine that you just have to keep picking it up, rolling it, popping it back down there, okay? So go ahead, finish your 90 rows, then add your waste yarn, remove your project, and then I'll see you back. Okay, so once you have your piece off the machine, you're going to stretch it widthwise and lengthwise. Okay, and we're going to close up the ends. I'm going to do it on the 22 needle one, so the smaller panel, but it's going to be done the same exact way on both. Let me just make that a little straighter. It's going to be done the same way on both. Okay, so we're going to find our first and our 22nd stitch. So on this end is the beginning of our work because it's harder to pull the waste yarn out. At the beginning of your project, you're going to look for your waste yarn. Okay, and there it is coming out of that little loop there. See how when I pull on that, that end comes out. So this is the stitch we're going to put our stitch marker in. Right there, that's number 1. Then we're going to go to the left of it, and when we pull this waste yarn, it's coming out of this one. Where is it? Coming out of this one here. Okay, you'll see it's trailing into this one here, but go to the one that's on top of it. So to the left of your first stitch, the one that has one right on top of the other, and you're going to take the top one, and that is right beside the end of your waste yarn there, and that's, or of your working yarn there, and that's the one that you're going to take. Now we know we have 22 stitches on here, so we're going to count around. We want the exact the very far side here. So we're going to count around to the 11th and 12th stitch. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and this is 12. So I'm going to put my hook under the 12th stitch, okay, just like that. Then, and that counts as number 1 because we want to make sure we're working all 22 stitches. So that's 1. I'm going to go up to the top there. I'm going to pick up that next one, work it through. That's 2. Go down to the bottom, 3, up to the top, 4, and back and forth just like that, picking up stitches until you have counted all 22. Now it doesn't matter if you go over top like what I did or if you go under your stitch and take it through. The point of matter is you just want to take that loop through the loop that's on your hook. Okay, so you keep going till you get them all worked, and then I'll see you at the end. All right, so I'm at the end, and I'm going to pull up on this one to get underneath that stitch. Sometimes they're tight, this time it's not, but sometimes they are, and that's why these stitch markers are so great. Okay, that's 21. Then I'm going to see this one's tight, and it's hard to find, so I'm going to pull up on it, just like that. That's 22. I'm going to yarn over with my working yarn end, and I'm going to pull on it. Okay, now we're going to remove this waste yarn. So I'm going to roll it up till I get that very first row. And you know you're on the first rows when you look, you see that stitch that it's rocking through. That stitch up there, that's then we know that we're on the very top row. So pinch the stitch and pull. And we're close to the end where the waste yarn end was, okay? Then we're going to roll up to get to the very top row. You don't want to make a mistake and get the second row because then you'll get a knot, okay? And you're going to pull. Roll up. Pinch the stitch and pull the top row out. And we're going to do that all the way around till we get the first row out. Okay? Pinching and pulling. Okay, see, and now I know I'm all the way around. I got one more to go. And then all you got to do is pull off your waste yarn. Roll it up as you go, which I'm not going to do just for the sake of this video, but you roll it up as you go. Oh, I got one just got a little bit snagged on the when I pulled it through the when I worked my loops, I snagged it, so then that one I'm going to have to cut off a little bit, but that's okay. Just cut off that one little strand to loosen it. It's just snagged on a strand. And then you can pull it out, okay? And that's our end. Now we're going to go to the other side, and we're going to do the same thing, but I'll show you how you find your stitches there if you're new and you don't know how to do that. So you're going to take out the little knot that you tied there, and this little loop where your waste yarn is coming through, that's your first stitch. Okay? Then to the left of it, when you trail back your working yarn, this one right here is this stitch. So when you pull on that, you'll see that stitch. And again, it's the one set to the left where there's one on top of the other, and you're going to take the top one. Okay? Then you're going to put your yarn ends outside of your work so you don't work them in. And you're going to do exactly the same thing that you did to the other side. You're going to count around to 11 and 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. This is 12. I count that as 1. I count this as 2, 3, and 4, all the way till I get to the end and work all 22 stitches. Then I yarn around my end here, finish off the stitch by making a knot there. Then this side here, all you got to do is pull the waste yarn. It just comes off very, very easy. So you go ahead and do that. And when you're finished doing it on the smaller one here, you grab your bigger panel and you do exactly the same thing on both ends. Okay? And then first you're going to stretch it out widthwise and lengthwise. And then you're going to do exactly the same thing that we just did on our smaller panel. Okay? And when you have both ends done, what is going on here? There you go. When you have both ends done, I'll see you back and we will do the next part. All right, so aren't they beautiful? Man, once you've got them together, we're going to thread your needle with your working yarn, either color. I'm going to choose the body color, okay? Then you're going to put your piece together at the end, and we're going to invisible join, okay? So to do the invisible join, you're going to line up the side row, making sure that the wide part of the V is going to the left on both sides, okay? So if it naturally comes up so that the point is there, then just give it a tiny slight turn so that you get the wide part of both V's at the top there, okay? I'm going to just zoom in a little bit so you can see better, okay? There we go. And we're going to invisible stitch all the way down the side, okay? Now I use this tail here to sew the first stitch. I'll go back and do that a little bit later because it's a little bit tight to get into. So I always start on the second or even the third stitch. So for this one, this little tiny guy up there, that goes to this first one. So I'm going to go into the second one here, pick up the second and the third, pull my yarn end through long enough to make it down the side of the panel here. Then I'm going to go, that's my first, I'm going to go second and third. Okay. And I'm going to pick up 2 panels there, or 2 stitches there. Then I'm going to smooth this out. If you have trouble staying on the same line all the way down, then just do like 5 inches at a time max. That's probably 2 inches, but I straightened it out. I'm going to pinch it and hold it. Where I came out on this side, I'm going to go in. I'm going to pick up 2 bars, 2 stitches, pull it through. Where I came out on this side, I'm going to go in, pick up 2, just like that. And I'm going to do this all the way down. I did the same amount of stitches on both panels. So no matter how I stretched it, if one looked longer than the other after I took it off and stretched it, it's going to all pull itself together when you follow this all the way down, okay? Because we started on the same stitch number on both ends, and we're picking up the same amount of stitches on each side as we go down. We will end up exactly how we need it to be at the end, okay? So I'm going to keep going, picking up 2 on each side, but I'm going to show you how you tighten that in 1 second. I'm going to just do 1 more on each side. Just like that. Okay? And then all you do is you take both ends of your working yarn and you pull it. And look at that. It just seamlessly puts it together. Okay, so that's what you're going to do all the way down. Now you can, this is short enough that you can always pull it from both ends like this, or excuse me, if I did another 10 stitches or so, I'll pinch there and then pull on the working end, and it'll do the same thing. So you're going to continue that all the way down till you get to the end, and when you get there, I'll see you. Okay, so it's always hard to find that first one after you've pinched it, but it's there. You just make sure that you get the exact same one that you're supposed to get and start it in there and continue on your merry way down the row. Okay, you got this, friends. Even if you don't like doing the invisible stitch, once you do it a couple times and you get it, it's a lot of fun. It'll become one of your favorite things to do. All right, so pick up 2 bars each side, tighten it to close, make it all the way down to the end, and I shall see you back. Alrighty, so made it to the top, and it's matching up beautifully. I'm going to take those 2 and these 2. Then I'm going to just pinch and pull that tight. Oops, but you don't want it to gather. You want it to just have its nice natural hold there. And then I'm going to cut this off so it's shorter and out of my way. Then I'm going to just take either one of these tails, it doesn't matter. And this is how I finish off the end. I will take the first stitch on that side and the first stitch up on this side. Then I'm going to tie a knot with these 2 yarn ends, just like so. And then I'll go ahead and I'll hide the yarn ends into their respective colors, okay? And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do that on the other side as well. So you go ahead and hide your ends there, and then I'll see you back. All right, so I think you can see where this is going now, right? Both sides are right. There's not a right side and a wrong side. So you're going to just fold it over, okay? And we're going to begin stitching, okay? But I'm going to keep the same color, the burgundy here, and I'm going to keep the tan here as I sew. So I'm going to start up at the top here, okay? I'm going to I have yarn on my needle. I'm going to just bring it through at the corner. I'm going to tie a knot, leaving an end because then I can just hide this end, okay? Tie a knot. Then we're going to begin sewing this up, just picking the top stitches. Okay, I'm going to lower this again. Just picking the top stitches as we go, okay? We want to seam this closed. And this will become the inside of our beanie because that's where our stitch is, okay? Now there's several ways you can do this. You can just do your basic stitches like what I'm doing here, or you can invisible stitch it together just like we did before, but just figuring out where your stitches are by going like that, like putting it in there and then picking up 2 stitches here and invisible stitch, closing it that way. I almost did it that way, but then I decided that I'm going to try it this way. But one thing you want to do is you want to make sure that this lines up, your seam here is going to line up. So I'm going to just take a bobby pin there, my favorite little things, and I'm going to just hold it together to remind me that that's where I have to make sure it lines up, okay? So I'm going to just continue seaming it closed like this. And again, this is perfect personal preference how you seam this closed. So you go ahead and do what you feel comfortable doing and what you think works best for you. This is just how I'm going to do it. Okay? Because I'm just figuring this out actually as I go. This is one of those projects that I'm figuring out as I go because there was a comment on my Facebook page that someone is having a hard time making beanies big enough. And I just finished making a cancer cap. And if you go and take a look at my videos on my page, you'll see that there is a cancer cap there. And it's made on the vertical like this by making a headband and then making it into a beanie. And so I figured, well, if I can do it for that, I can do it for this. So, and that cancer cap is beautiful. And again, it's thanks to one of my subscribers and group members, Tina. So thanks again, Tina. But anyways, we have a wonderful group of crafters over on my Facebook group, Koala Knits and Knacks. So if you're not a part of it, please come over and join us. We would love to have you there. Okay, so there we go. I'm going to just finish that all the way down to the end, and then I'm going to fasten off because I want to change to the other color, okay, for the brim. So go ahead, finish that, and I'll see you back when you're done. Okay, here's another tip for you, which will confirm the fact that I'm figuring this out as I go. Next time you make one of these, start here and go up, and then you'll have your end ready for use when it comes to cinching the top, okay? So next time, start here and go up to the top here so that you can use this yarn end to do the next part of the project, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to tie this off into a knot. I'm going to hide that yarn end, and then I'm going to attach one that is in the tan color, and I'm going to seam it down in the same manner. Seam it down in the same manner going down here, okay? So go ahead and do that, and then I'll see you back. All right, so I just thought I'd pop on again. I'm going to start down here this time, okay? So that my knot gets put in the middle there. So I'm going to just tie this off, and then I will hide that later, but I'm gonna work my way up to the center. Then, you know, I always say on my videos that detail, those little fine details, make a big difference. And so by having our knots and a finished end up in here, I think it'll finish this off a little bit better, okay? So we're going to continue along our merry way, just like this until I meet up, and then I'm going to tie off, hide my ends, and then we'll start gathering, okay? All right, so we have our beautiful seam done, and now I have attached another piece of yarn up to the top here. I'm going to go ahead and we are going to now just smooth it out so we make sure that we have it exactly in half. We want to make sure that we have that top rim, okay? And then all we're going to do is we're going to zigzag up on that first row every second stitch or so, okay? Pick up that full row or that full stitch just like that. You can see what I'm doing. You're going to do that all the way around the beanie till you get to this other side. So all the way around. Don't tighten it really tight, because if you follow my channel and you've seen some of my videos, you will have seen these wonderful Pom-Kins. They are they've got a little rough edge on the one side, so it helps to keep them in the hat. But Renda Wheeler, a subscriber to my channel and a friend in my Facebook group, say that 5 times really fast. Her and her brother Sam created these things, and they're Pom-Kins, and they hold your pom-pom in your hat so that you can have a removable pom-pom just at the flick of a swing of your finger. All you got to do is bend it and remove it, bend it to put it in. And I'm going to use that in this tutorial. And so you don't want to close it up so tight that you can't get it in. So go ahead and finish this part, and then I'll see you back. If once you see how I use them, if you're interested in them, then just look in the description box below, and I will have her information there, and you can go ahead and order them from her and her brother. Okay, so there you go. Keep going around in this way, and I'll see you when you get to the end. All right, so I've made it around, and I'm just going to remove the needle just to make it easier. I'm going to start pulling this, making sure, and this is the wrong side, and I'm going to just make sure that it smooths out at the top here, so I don't have a big bunch. Okay, then you're going to take your little Pom-Kins. Now you fold them in half so that you can make sure that your opening goes around it. It's a little bit difficult to do, but I'm just gonna pull it a little bit tighter. Then I'm going to pinch it. It's hard to hold these things because they want to do their job. And then you can just eyeball how tight, how much of a space you need to leave, okay? Just so that you can fit it in there. It's not very much. See if or you can hold two of these, because if you order these from her, you're going to order more than one, and then just hold them like that. And then, now there's a smart way to do it, because that's the right width. Okay. That's about the right width. So then you're going to go ahead and you're going to tie this off. Just need a little hole so that you can get that in there, to have your pom-pom removable. And I think it's absolutely genius. Okay, and I applaud her for it. Okay, her and her brother Sam. So when she showed it to us on my Facebook group, see, now I can take it out because I can see that's what it is. Or I put your end of your crochet hook in there, 4.5 millimeter crochet hook in there. That's another idea. Or the end of a pen, and that's about the size of an opening that you need. Okay. And so then some would say, well, then if I'm wearing it without a pom-pom, there's a hole in there. Yeah, there is, but it's not that big of a hole, and it doesn't look bad, and it's nothing that you need to worry about. But really, if you're going to add a removable pom-pom to this, the chances are is that you're going to have the pom-pom in there on most occasions, okay? Now you're going to just go around this hole to reinforce it. Now again, the beauty of doing a beanie this way is that if you have an extra large head and you're finding that you're having a hard time making your beanies big enough on your Addi 46 or your Sentro 48, this is the way to do it. And you can, this is actually a lady size. So because I only did 90 rows, it's the average lady's head, because that's the size that we use for our headbands. So use your headband row count as your guide, and every 5 rows that you add will add about an inch in width here, okay? I just love this too. I just love how this looks. I love the fact that it's running horizontal instead of vertical, and there's good stretch in it, and it's beautiful. It is absolutely beautiful. And you can add a little embellishment or whatever you have there, but that's what this looks like. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to hide those ends, and then I'm going to show you the pom-pom maker, okay? Okay, so to show you this wonderful invention, there is a smoother side on this pumpkin, and there is a rougher side. You want to make sure that the rougher side goes down when you're putting it on your pom-pom, because then when it opens up in the hat, you're going to have that textured side against your hat, and it's going to help keep it in place, okay? So have that down when you put it on your pom-pom. There's textured side on both sides really, but there's one that's more textured than the other. Then you're going to put your finger under there, and you're going to just wrap this around the pumpkin 2 or 3 times, okay? Keeping it in the center. If you need to use your little hook here to help you pull up on it, then that's what you got to do, okay? Put it across. You're going to pull out all those little furry ends that went underneath there. Make it nice. There we go. Now Brenda, of course, because she's the creator of this, she does it so much more elegantly than I do. And she has a video way down in my group somewhere. So you can search her name, Brenda, in my Facebook group, Koala Knits and Knacks, and then you'll see it. But that's how you do it. But I also have another video on this, so you can look that up on my channel as well. So then you're going to bend this in half. Be careful, because it always wants to rebound back, which is awesome. That's a good thing. Okay. And then you're going to bring your hat up. Put your hand in the inside to help you. Okay, little guy, cooperate with me. Put your hand on the inside. Then you're going to poke that in through the hole. Doesn't take much. And voila, look at that. Like, look at that. Isn't that genius? Then to take it out, you squeeze it and push it out, and it's done. Okay, and so there you have it. Oh, this is so nice. But one thing I'm going to tell you that you're going to want to do, drives me crazy when I see pom-poms that look like that, when there's a solution to making it look gorgeous. Take it into your room where your blow dryer is, put your blow dryer on high heat, and blow dry this on high heat for 15 seconds, and you're gonna love me. If you've never done that before, you're gonna love that idea. And this is the back, that's the back seam. This is the front, and there you go. So there you have it. Isn't it beautiful? Such a beautiful looking beanie. And the beauty about this one too is that if you need a wider circumference around your head, you can make the pieces as long as you need them to be. So have fun. Thank you for joining me again. You guys are the best. I just love you all. So please hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't done so already. And come on over to my Facebook group, Koala Knits and Knacks. I'd love to have you over there. So again, my friends, take care and we'll see you next time.